Welcome back to Cards and Comics. And today I have my first mail day video in quite a while, and there's a lot of reasons for it. But mainly, since I went to the last card show and setup, I have some extra funds to reinvest in the hobby, which is great. And I'm doing my part. I also, work-wise, it's bonus season, so I have a little extra cash there too. And I wanted to wait until I had some of the major pieces in that I wanted to show off and do it all in one video. However, I'm still missing a few cards, and I feel like I just waited long enough. I had so much stuff to show that, in fact, I'm gonna separate it into three videos. I'm gonna have, a sports card video, Marvel and comic card video, and a comic book video because there's so much stuff, and I don't want to like rush through it all and be like, oh, here's this, here's that, and just run through it. I want to talk about sort of why I picked up some of the pieces. And in the comic book video, I've got some of my holy grails coming in. I'm really excited about that, especially some Silver Age stuff. So cool stuff going on there. I've got Totoro, I got Spider-Man, and I got Spider-Punk somewhere around here because Spider-Punk #1 just hit, and there's a really cool variant for Spider-Punk #1. Couple variants out there. The yellow one, I think if you're into the comic books, you've already seen it. It's on a lot of hit lists, and it's in the Comic Tom and all the CB, CSI, CSC. I don't know those top 10 lists you always see on Instagram, YouTube. Cool book. I like the character. That's not his first appearance, guys. So remember that. All right, we'll get into the sports cards. We'll start with football and basketball. I didn't buy a lot of it, but the pieces I did pick up I think are pretty cool. If you're on my Instagram, you saw some of this already, but not everything. So first off, we'll start with this card here, 97 Skybox EX2000. So this is a cut above, one of the coolest insert sets ever made. One of my favorite all-time inserts, and I sold this card at the Albany show, and I decided, I want to get it replaced. I want a graded version. And I have a Sanders, but it's creased. These cards do crease very easily, like right here. In fact, you can see there's a little damage on that card right there. And that's probably why I got an 8. And so this card's pretty condition sensitive, and so we'll definitely want to get me a 8 or above Barry Sanders at some point. Next is something that I've been wanting for a long time. And obviously, back in the day, I would have wanted an 8. But in today's market, I got me a 7, and I think it's a good 7. It's a little off center. But this is one of the hardest to get cards of Jim Brown that you can find. The only one that's harder is his rookie in the 62. This is very condition sensitive. The lime green borders are, I think, to some folks, they're a turnoff, I know. But colored borders like this are really hard. Think of 75 tops for one thing, or 71 tops, with black. But if you look at Pop Report, this is a pretty low pop card. I would put the 62 up there as well. I think 7s in those two cards are still great cards and worth seeking out. So I went ahead and got this card because I just want to have more Jim Brown cards in my collection, and I think this is probably top 3 or 4 of his cards that's ever been made. I mean, he doesn't have a ton of cards, but this is definitely in the top 3 or 4 in my opinion. So 63 tops Jim Brown, and I'll show you the back. The backs are really kind of interesting that year. Next up is some basketball. Now, I know I don't do a lot of basketball, and that was brought up at the show. Like, hey, where's your basketball? Now, I have a giant box of basketball cards, and you saw I picked up the Michael Jordan Refractor, the Kevin Durant rookie cards. I do collect basketball, but I'm very picky about what I pick up. So this next card is one of my favorite inserts, and I think, honestly, I love the cut above, but this card, if they would have made something like this in football or baseball, they would have been all-time great cards. So could you imagine I don't know, like a big man on field, or I don't know, base pass, I don't know, like whatever it is for baseball, and had just a really cool die cut like this with this kind of colorful die cut. Just one of the best insert sets that's ever been made, regardless of sports. The Jordan goes for nuts. This is Charles Barkley. It's only a 7, but it's just one of those iconic looking cards. And I know if I put this out at a card show, people are just going to be drawn to it because they just want to have a card like this in their collection because they're just really cool. And that's why I got it, because it's just really cool. And last but not least is a 2019-20 flawless Oscar Robertson autograph Emerald. So this is numbered 4 out of 5, and it's on card, and it's just, I guess it's the base auto. And beautiful card. I really dig the emeralds, and I was kind of laughing about emeralds at the show because I've been noticing on eBay that people are starting to really pay a premium for the green or emeralds compared to what it was 2 years ago or even a year ago. And it's just kind of funny to me because the emeralds have always been low print, but the whole set's low print. So like a lot of cards are numbered to 10 or 20, and that's numbered to 5. And that's really not been something that people were really seeking out until now. Now it's like the green emerald cards have gotten crazy and really going up in value. So I saw it. I want to autograph this guy in my collection, and I thought this was a really beautiful one, and I grabbed it. And no regrets. I just think it's a really, really nice autograph on a really cool card. My last football card, which not a card, but I did buy a box of Flair Brilliance. This is 98. So this is the Randy Moss, Peyton Manning rookie year. Now, the Flair Brilliance cards, there are golds and like a 24 karat gold cards, number 24. Some of the most expensive rookie card parallels are in this product. Really nice product, really nice set. There's also these pulsars that are 1 in 400 packs. So tons of great inserts in here. Really tough pulls. And I kind of like that. The 90s were basically like, hey, cards are cool, but you're going to have to buy 2 cases to get one. So they were tough back in the day. So we'll go now into some of the more modern baseball. Switching to baseball. So I did show this on my Instagram. I just want to show it off again. This is my 2000, I believe this is 2002. Yeah, 2002 Archives Willie Mays on-card refractor, I guess it is refractory, auto. You can see the autograph right there. It's just a beautiful card. I paid for it. I wanted it. I've been looking for a Mays auto, another Mays auto. I already have one. This is my second. But I wanted something that was, just special, not a sticker auto or on a card that is kind of ugly. And I love the 62 tops. I've got the 8. If you go to my Instagram, you'll see I kind of posted a picture of them together. And just one of my favorite cards of all time from Mays itself, and then to have an autograph on card refractor cool, version of it. Just really cool. So I'm really, really, really stoked about that card. Next up is some Griffey inserts, and so we'll start in 2000. So here's a Flair Ultra Thunderclap. These aren't as rare as some other years. They made this set a few years. I think this is just mediocre rare. I don't know if it's a 144 or whatever, but this is a very interesting insert right here. So this is out of EX Century. They call it Exceptional. There's 3 colors. There's red, blue, and green, with the blue being the rarest. This one's numbered 999. You can see that. Now, these cards are basically identical to Jambalayas. And they made them in basketball. They made them in football. I'm not sure if they made them hockey or not. But, so, there's no Jambalaya baseball cards. This is as close as you're going to get to it. And I know people are starting to buy these up and kind of specking on these as being kind of like Jambalayas. And obviously they're made by the same company and, and having very similar die cut and technology to make these. I can see it. I don't think they're going to get the hype like Jambalaya stuff just because people are very brand loyal and name loyal. But I will say this card's cool. They're numbered. Jambalayas actually aren't numbered. That's one of the things that helps and hurts them. People don't really know how rare they are, but I suggest you go on eBay right now and see how many 13, 15, and 17 Jambalaya Marvel cards are on eBay, and how many of them are, and the ones that are there are like 20 grand or plus. So they're pretty rare. They're a little more rare than the PMGs in my opinion, especially the bronze and red ones. But anyway, back to this card. I love this card. I'm getting the blue in the mail, and that was one of the cards I wanted to show. But this is a great set. I like, the fact there's only 3 colors. And I do think it has some legs to be kind of like a poor man's jambalaya. Next up is a Focus Pocus from 2000 Fleer Focus. Not a really popular set, but this is just a really cool, shiny foil board insert set. So, hey, they look cool. They're not numbered, but, for $5, you get a really cool looking insert. And I grabbed it. And then the last non-graded insert is this 2005 Topps Finest. This is the base refractor of Griffey. And so I've been picking up these mid-2000, early 2000 Griffey cards because he's a red. No one, everyone wants the Seattle cards. I get it. But, hey, this is still a refractor, still a cool card. And the color versions of these are also cool as well. So when I get them or see them, I like to pick them up because they're cheaper than some of the stuff from the, let's say, Seattle era. And last but not least is the 96 Donruss Elite. So this 96 Donruss Elite was still numbered to 10,000. Kind of crazy cray. This is the most plain year. I think in 97 or 98 they were die cut, and that made them look cooler. This is probably one of my least favorite years. It's just so plain looking with the gray on silver foiling. Nothing really stands out. So they are what they are. Still a cool card, and I feel like, numbered out 10,000, they're not, they're not as special as people. They're hard to pull, but they're not that special compared to what some of the earlier ones bring, which are still kind of high. All right, next up is a Frank Thomas card. So this is the Skybox EX Century. So from the same set that Jambalaya looking card came out of. It's the Frank Thomas Favorites for Fenway. And Fenway Park that year was where the All-Star game was. And remember, I just got the Griffey in a 10, and now I got the Frank Thomas in a 9. So I got both the Thomas and the Griffey. Woohoo! Yay! So I'm very excited about that. Got both of them. They're cool cards. They're just nice, Having both of them, it's like, like you can't. If you got one, you got to get the other, and I want to do that in a lot of insert sets, like the '93 Finest set. I would love to get the Frank Thomas, but I don't have it. I got the Griffey. It's funny. I've got the Griffey in '93, but no Thomas in '93, and I got the Thomas in '94 and no Griffey in '94. King Griffey issues right there. I bought this card because it's a really interesting card. So this is from Skybox Molten Metal, right? And so I believe this came out because the National or the All-Star game was in Atlanta that year. And so this was given away, I guess, in boxes at the All-Star game in '99, and so they made this special insert for those special boxes being sold around that time period or at the All-Star game. I'm not really sure. Baseball Cardpedia has a little article about it. So they made these kind of crazy die cuts, which I just thought were cool. So I just wanted one just to see what they looked like. I mean, it's super cheap. I think it's like $10 or $15. But there's a whole set of these. There's a Maddox in there, so that's probably chipper. But just wanted to have one to see what it looks like. And that time period of cards was just so cool. And then my obligatory 93 Finest common card that I keep buying one of these a month, and then in 20 years I might get close to having a set. I've got the Griffey, so I've got a good start, but man, I don't have any of the other big stars. So I don't know if it's a pipe dream for me to keep doing this, but when I see him sell for like $20 or below, I just buy him. And my sweet spot's around $25 to $35. If I get him in that range, I just buy him because and I think I've got 35 or 40 of them now. In the Griffey, I think like Edgar Martinez as the next star, so not a lot of stars. I got Joe Carter, which is supposedly a harder one to get. All right, now moving on to vintage. So I know rambling a lot, but I just like showing off the cards. So we'll go through here. This was a card I actually don't have. 75 Topps Mini, Johnny Bench. People are a little, like torn over minis. When I first started collecting these cards, the mini was more expensive, and then it's kind of twisted to where the base card is more. That's just because a big stash of minis was found, and tons of boxes were open. BFSO Card Exchange had tons of these on their website for a long time, and so that kind of flooded the market for quite a while, and it's died off a little bit. So maybe the prices will go back up again. I don't know, but they are not easy to find in good condition in the wild. But a lot of people have product they just opened in the last 20 years, and all that product is in good shape, and so that's where you've seen a lot of these graded cards come from. So, but it's a Johnny Bench, it's from the 70s, and it looks cool, so I grabbed it. Next up is a card that I don't have. I put together a Slowly 63 Flair set, and so I just grabbed it for my set. It's off-center and kind of ugly, but that whole set's kind of ugly for the most part. Few cool cards, but a lot of the cards are kind of ugly. Now, big card, so I finally added a card to my Hank Aaron set. 67 Topps. This is a pretty nicely centered one. I finally just bit the bullet and bought one, just, the way it was. Did not pay that much for it, but, still paid a lot. Now, this card, the only reason why I didn't really want to buy it in the first place was just how off-center it is. And there's a little sliver of green, but it's almost miscut on back. So, but the front looks great. That's what I really care about. And so I went ahead and grabbed it. It's an 8. It's the first 8 Aaron I've had in over a year, I believe. So it's good to move the needle a little bit on one of my major PC projects. So that felt good. Next up is a Mantle card. I did show it on my Instagram, but here it is. It's the 58. And I'm working on a special video. Right now, the All-Star cards are kind of going nuts compared to what they've always been priced at. My opinion is that the All-Star cards are going nuts because people can't get the regular version cards anymore at reasonable prices. And again, supply's dried up. If you peruse eBay, you're not going to see a 55 Aaron 8 or 58 Aaron 8 or 58 Mantle 8 or 56 Aaron or Mantle 8 or Maze 8 come up for auction at all. I mean, some of those cards haven't sold in over a year or two on eBay. So, they're going to the major auction houses now, and it's just, the supply is drying up, so people are going like, well, if I can't get that card, I'll get the All-Star card. This is a really nicely centered, great color version of this card. It's still reasonably priced, I opinion, compared to like what the Willie Mays and Aaron cards are bringing now. I think this card has some room to grow if that trend continues. But it's one that I think is nicest looking All-Star card, especially if you get one with a nice red back and nicely centered. So there you go, 58 Mantle All-Star. And then I got a lot of these in one auction, so I'll show kind of a lot of them here. I got the 55 Bowman, so these are all 55 Bowmans. It's early win PSA 7. It's a pretty nice card. I looked it over. I think it's one of the nicer ones. It's a little off center top to bottom, but you got to remember the top to bottom centering is pretty narrow because of that color TV right there in the middle. So that makes that top and bottom border pretty thin. Left to right, it's a little off. Now, next up is Pee Wee Reese. It's also a 7. Again, it's better centered left to right. It's got a little more corner wear, and it's got kind of the next card beside it showing, and that happened a lot, which just meant the cutting was a little off, and so some of the next card shows a little bit like a print line. PSA doesn't ding it too much, but it's a little distracting. I wouldn't want it on a high dollar card because it just is a little distracting. Enos Slaughter, just grabbed him. He, overall, he might be the nicest one in the bunch of the 7s, but it's Enos Slaughter, not huge value. But last but not least, I did grab I call a top tier Hall of Famer. My opinion, Eddie Matthews. He was really awesome. look him up, look at his stats. He was great. He had a great 10-year run in his career where he was, one of the best third basemen ever. You know, and I feel like, he doesn't get a lot of credit anymore. People kind of forgot about him, but he was a slugger. And his cards sometimes are worth a lot because they're in sets where he's like the last card in the set, or like 52 tops, things like that, where he's just really expensive. But and that's his rookie card. So yeah, I mean, like the Eddie Matthews and 52 tops, the Eddie Matthews and 53 tops is pretty cheap comparatively. So his cards are really hit and miss on value depending on the year. But I like getting any Hall of Fame, and this is an 8. So I was pretty excited to get an 8 Hall of Famer from the 50s, no matter who it was. So there you guys. That is the sports card update of the video. And I'll be recording and publishing the non-sport card version of this video next, and then the comic books, and I'll be opening this box of Flair Brilliance as well pretty soon. So see you next time. Hopefully you want to stay tuned to the other videos in this series, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.